maybe you guys enjoyed it. Chris Hemsworth was in one, I think, which was strange. Didn't quite make any sense.
Humbly,
Okay.
you're objecting to Australians being
I'm not objecting to it. I just think that it's weird.
I swear, everyone, every other day, Atlas, like, this movie with Hugh Jackman, you gotta see. It's a musical. It's great. And
I mean, I love, everyone loves Hugh Jackman.
Well, yeah, I'm also not complaining.
Okay.
I'm paying a compliment to
Ah,
Great, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was actually talking to Dan about Australia, the Baz Luhrmann film. Was that Dan? No, that was you. That was you.
Yeah, that was a little
I walked the same direction with both of you today, and so, like, my memories are getting a little bit...
that is confusing.
A bit muddled.
That'll get you.
And the last series certainly did a number on the old brain. That's okay. Vi and Gwen, understandable bans. The Xin Zhao actually sitting on the ban list, though, is an interesting addition here for DRX.
So we are going to B1 Azir. That's happening. Do we ban Kalista? I think we can let Kalista open. But I think they might... I think they will ban it. As there we go. Duro and Ruler have both been solid. Duro in particular has really gone kind of to the point where I think hoped he'd be. He's not the best support in the LCK, but he is very, very solid. He's been performing well, and he's been performing up to the level that we knew he could, which he showed in Challengers, which in the LCK Cup, you don't really see yet. No-brainer. You know, you might look at this and go, wow, Azir, then Chovy's going to play any of Silas or Akali or Cork. It doesn't matter. It's Chovy. Find a counter pick as Keen in pure excitement. Maybe gets to lock in a fun champion. There's Jace. There's Rumble. That's the two.
There's Jace and Rumble.
Oh, again?
You just
Kinda
do
love
it.
That. Yeah, do it. Do it. Chovy plays something fun again.
Well, this is Nefiri, so we're not going to see at least the combination. And I imagine GENG are probably keen to grab something a little bit more tanky in this lineup as well. That being said, I just don't feel like it's going to happen. I think that one of either Jace or Rumble are going to be locked in for Keen in this rotation. Otherwise, you do leave both of them up and available, and that is dangerous. The Rumble will be the decision. Rich is going to pick Jace, guys. That's what's going to happen.
That's what should happen. We'll see if Rich sticks to the plan.
I'm riding it. Committed. In pen.
Chase Poppy.
Ooh, Jace Poppy feels fantastic.
Jace Poppy feels great. You get the combo with Azir.
Flex the Poppy as well.
Yeah, it's good into Nefiri. We're playing Skarner. Are they afraid of, like, Skarner jungle Nefiri mid? Because I get Skarner and Rumble, that's a really good combo, but...
Never punished, by the way.
I would have loved
the riding it in early. Yeah, the Poppy would have been such a good idea.
Oh god, GENG is not messing around. Oh no.
Okay, that's an Ahri.
That's a mid-jungle 2v2 that I would not be on the receiving end of. Kenyon, Chovy, Ahri, Nefiri.
Yeah, and in fact, even their top jungle 2v2 is looking pretty scary as well. So, UCal and Rich certainly going to have to be on their best behavior, especially considering the fact that Sponge is not likely to be doing anything too crazy early, unless he does a Pyoshik, where he's flashing over walls, turning Chronicler into Mickey Mouse, and then finding ganks in the early game.
Yeah, just the early game. I don't want to talk about the mid-game. That was...
What mid-game?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Alistair, banned away, might still look towards that Poppy just in support instead of picking it early on in the draft.
Yeah, I don't think DRX are too worried about leaving the Poppy up either, because Skarner can still engage pretty reliably without having to worry about it, as we know. It's just like heroic charges and things like that that can be quite annoying. As the Rakan going to be taken away.
What did they want to play that they banned Rakan?
Yeah, I find that a bit odd.
Well, they can just slam Ezreal here on 4 and then kind of see where they want to go. Maybe just an Undo counter ban. Wanted to go for Spore counter pick.
Yeah.
And afraid that if they don't ban Rakan, they don't want to pick Rakan on 4, and then if DRX ban Poppy instead of Nautilus, then the Rakan gets a lot of value. Could see that being consideration. As Duro.
Ooh.
Jhin, yeah, Jhin or Ezreal, either work.
Ruler back on Jhin duty feels a little bit sad, because Jhin feels a little bit more utility focused, and we know that Ruler does like to be the main character, but once again, not going to be the main character. Does it bother you that you can only see 3 of Jin's fingers
instead of
on his
4.
gun instead of 4 and his Jhin.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
It's a little
I
bit
actually
dumb.
hadn't noticed until you pointed it out, and now I'm very upset.
Yeah, does it make you upset? That's good.
Yeah.
Because that was the goal, is to make you upset. Are you guys upset as well in chat? Let me know.
Well, your goal was to make me upset, not chat, I hope.
I was just wondering whether maybe it also overflowed.
Well, I just hope that you want to entertain our viewers. I've already accepted that you want to anger me. That's just
There's
how it
some in
goes.
chat that are probably entertained by the fact that some of chat are also annoyed.
That is how it goes.
Yeah.
Is Leona locked in?
Maybe everyone wins and no one at the same time. As Leona is going to be locked in, like you were saying. So what is going to be Duro's counter pick?
I'm not excited about like a Braum here. Oh my, yeah, either of those would work. I like the Elise more, I think. But they're both all in early supports. We are just playing to stomp the lane early. Poppy also makes sense for Duro. Gets to block the Leona, gets to block the engages from the Azir. And the Poppy is a great takeaway. Like, you deny it for future drafts. Yeah. Something that you always have to consider with Fearless, even though GENG are on red side right now. Most likely, they're also making the read. We're on red side again next game. And Poppy is a pick that you can pick early and flex into a lot of roles.
And I think, you know, the Talia might need to be gunned for as far as like first pick is concerned for UCal in the second game, but that is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. And as it is now time to see whether DRX can turn their fortunes around. 16 games is too many already.
No one beats DRX 17 games in a row.
No one does, apart from maybe GENG right now, but we'll just have to see. Because even then, maybe 17 is actually like, that's the cutoff. And then 18 is impossible. And that's what we'll have to figure out. I just personally don't think that this draft is quite going to get DRX over the line. Teddy's Ezreal has been very strong. There's Jace in the hands of Rich, who is very, very good at it. The DRX fans, they are starting to believe. They are daring to believe. This guy on his way to the military, and he said he'll go to military again if DRX wins. Did he just really enjoy it in the military?
Or he's just a fan that is ready to throw it all down if it gets him the win. That's
actually very, very cool. It's quite a bet. It's all right. Let's jump out of the rift, see whether they can send him to the military.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
I appreciate it for the 07s in chat, ladies and gentlemen, but you may not necessarily need them. If GENG wins here, he will not be required to go to military service again.
It's not often that you see someone go in with more stake than their hair bet, but this is like, you know, this is not an even
That's like
matchup.
2 years of your life.
Yeah, no, it's not close.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to regrow your hair? Like
2 months.
2 months?
My hair grows really fast.
Well, you also do other stuff while your hair regrew.
Yeah.
I assume. Did I see you during your period? No,
I did not a lot of going out in public because I was very upset about my hair being short. It's not actually true. Everything was kind of fine. So never mind. It's actually 18 months in Korea for military service. So never mind. 1.5 years. Still bad.
Still.
Yeah, still way worse than the hairbed situation.
Still long.
And it was also towards the end of a season, and so I had the grand reveal at the final, and then I got a bunch of time off, and so by the time I was back, it was basically grown. So
I remember that.
Really was not exactly the most ridiculous. As UCal trading quite nicely here with Chovy in this early game. And I think I'm going to be mainly looking towards the top side. I want to see how well Rich can do in this matchup versus Keen's Rumble. We've seen this one kind of go back and forth. Oftentimes, you do like generally see the Jaces finding leads. Some of our Rumbles have really been able to play the matchup out well. So Keen might be the guy that can do that.
Rumble for me has become the equivalent to, like, I'm trying to think of it's like Sejuani, where like I get why you pick it, but the last time I sold this champion hard carry is a long time ago.
Rumble?
Yeah.
Wasn't it last week that she like pentakilled on it?
Yeah, but the panic kill was like, you got a panic kill, but the game was already over before that.
Yeah, but that was because she was playing really, really well before that.
It was fine, but
That's true, though. I think I understand the vibe that you're getting, because right here, we're seeing exactly why you just don't do as much damage.
It used to be that Rumble would also stomp every lane, which I think has kind of soured our perception of him, now that he no longer does that.
Yeah.
But it's still Rumble. There's a very obvious reason as to why you play him is, we just get to watch Chovy and UCal lane, and UCal not having the best of time. Did just pop his potion a little later, but it's mostly the mana that he's not doing too hot in.
Yeah, Chovy certainly utilizing the blue stuff a little bit more effectively. As we're having a look at the loss streak here for the Skarner, 6 in a row. As 2 of those names being Lucid does mean that, you know, that's curious. Has never really been a Lucid-flavored champion, though, to be honest.
And I can still remember him having great moments in those games, but also moments where he would just go in and kind of die.
Yeah.
Post-nerfs,
That's with the silence. Rich gonna boop him back a little bit late.
This is all set up for the dive, though, so as long as he doesn't die, it's worth it.
Yeah. Sponge gonna get slowed down momentarily, just smashes for the wallbang, and that is going to be first blood going over to Rich. Very comfortably done, as there is no cannon left here, nothing to tank up that wave, so that is also gonna go. Keen gonna be respawning 3 seconds. That wave is dead as he pops up.
Clean gank from Sponge, nothing to note. Rich with Electrocute, by the way, we haven't highlighted this yet, but Electrocute Jace into Rumble, so really just looking to, I imagine, go full lethality and try to maximize the damage. Sets this up. Keen doesn't really get to play the game. Not much he can do. Good that he holds onto his flash. Sponge with a perfect flash E. There's not really any counterplay. You can try to predict it, but if you fail, then obviously it's a bit of a disaster as Undeal. Unfortunately, also on his receiving end of a bit of a disaster. Is Duro going to be very happy about that trade.
Yeah, nicely played. Teddy just calmly waiting for his minions to head towards him. And DRX with a little bit of a gold advantage.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Yep. That's a stat that doesn't look great for the narrative that I want to sell.
It's really interesting because we've seen a lot of teams pick Skarner into Neferi, but then every time I see the Neferi hit like a couple of bleeds, Duro.
Yeah, Duro looking for the angle. He won't get the stun, but moves Rich back into danger. Andel's moving up though, and maybe they can turn it. Another crash from Sponge, and Duro's just dead. 16! That might be the maximum. DRX might be looking to end it right there. It's 5.5 minutes into the game, Max.
I didn't want to kill your. I didn't want to steal your fun, or I didn't want to kill your vibe.
Reality crept into my dream.
I'm glad, because I was gonna. Chovy might have to ult. Yep.
Hang on a second. Ulti going to be used from UCal here as Chovy wanting to turn it. Man, pretty happy to just go straight into the Azir, but Sponge being able to get the flash out of him, and on the other side, the Pigeon not so lucky. Another Charm actually hitting max range. Ruler with the follow-up, and there's an equalizer down. Sponge is dead. Oh God, I spoke way too soon.
Well, Atlas, that one's not on you. I'm not gonna let people claim caster curses for that one.
Yeah, unfortunately they are real, Chronicler, and I am the one that is to blame.
Or
responsible.
Were we just talking about GENG versus DRX? And GENG, some laning mishaps. Duro gets punished for an attempt to play.
I just sent that guy to military. Oh, wait, no, he's gonna. If they win, he's going to military, and that's fine, and he's gonna be happy. So it's okay. I don't have that on my conscience.
I'm assuming he was also talking about the series, not just the game.
Oh, okay.
I think you're okay. As
I think we'll probably still just take a game.
Goes in, doesn't actually get the slam into the wall, which means that Rich is completely fine. Nicely timed arrival from Ando and Sponge. But then here, we look for the play on Chovy. And Ruler is just there. I want you to look at how much damage this, jokes aside, this Jhin does. Because it is, over the course of this fight, quite a lot. Also sets up nicely. It's Chovy with perfect charm, the W, and then that final auto from Ruler after the equalizer from King comes in.
Yeah.
Clean fight there from GENG. DRX trying to do a little bit too much. And I don't know about trying to ult an Ahri. I don't see it. Unless you get the, if you get like the ult into immediate wall slam, that's a hard timing, Atlas. Rich is 2-0 though. That's nice.
Yeah.
Something.
And we know that the Jace is definitely going to be a win condition here for DRX. And if Rich is feeling himself on a given day, then he can certainly find some angles.
It does pop off sometimes out of nowhere.
He's definitely a vibes player, and the vibes have not been great on DRX's side, so we haven't seen very many good things from Rich. As Sponge is going to make his way in. There's the interrupt, as Sponge has to move out of the wall very awkwardly and slowly, as Chovy avoids the dive extraordinarily well.
Canyon was in the area as well, so I don't even know if it really would have led to too much. UCal, meanwhile, on the other end of the map, is facing off against Keen. Actually, like that. Don't mind that swap too much, because that makes it a lot harder for Keen. But I feel like Rich was doing well in the 1v1, and he definitely can't really punish Chovy. He might get punished, though, and he does have a bounty.
Yeah, that's Duro just going for the pushback, as the charm has to be flashed. Still getting the flash, pretty important here for GENG as well, as they are taking down the Dragon at the same time. Everything's sort of done for a reason, is what it feels like here in this early game for GENG. Zandal moves back to the mid lane, but honestly, just here to pick up some experience, wanting to get that level 6. As Deadly Flourish will be avoided. But 3 grubs and the Drake is not something that GENG should really be able to take just for free. However, that is indeed exactly what happened.
Getting a little worried, Atlas. I feel like we're on a GENG pace.
Yeah.
And you know who wins? And really this applies to any team in the world when we're on GENG pace.
GENG?
That's what they've done for the last, what is it, 3 years?
Yeah.
Starting 2022.
Yep, when they're at home, that's generally how that one goes. I mean, the LCK final was...
They lost the most recent one, but it was by 1 game. You know, it wasn't really comparable to obviously the struggles
that they faced. Same thing could be said, actually, as far as the LCK Cup is concerned.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very clearly between them and Honma Life right now, right? T1 slowly figuring their things out. DK is just DK, so
yeah.
I'm sure they will play great series against whichever team they end up facing and then lose in a beautiful manner.
How are you going to react when KT breaks the GENG perfect round robin by winning?
Knew it all along, called it from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to predict it because I need to do my part.
I think I'm just going to be annoyed.
Because it's so obvious.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating because it also, you're not allowed to then think, oh, KT must be good. No. It won't have any bearing on anything at all.
Yeah, I'm not annoyed by this because I don't have an actual emotional attachment. I think there's a part of you that still...
Oh, yeah, no, I do. It's largely emotional.
When it comes to KT.
Yeah.
It's KT, it's Deft, and it's Barrel for you.
Well, Sponge is looking to try and deny the perfect grubs. That does indeed come in. As Keen moving on over, wanted to charge that heat up, does manage to do so. Is now Teddy in a pretty safe spot as that is a 2-man on the Impale. Duro just flashes away though in the equalizer. Walk down here by Andal. He can't go back in again as Canyon goes untargetable for the moment. As that's a teleport in from Chovy, gets into that backline, misses the charm, but that doesn't matter. Down goes the Jace as Ruler is going to cleanse away any sort of stuns that are coming in. And Andal thrown around like a ragdoll entirely here. And we'll just get barbecued in the backline. GENG just seemingly immortal in this team fight. Teddy and UCal left alive, but unable to do any damage.
DRX went way too deep. It didn't need to. Could have just pieced out. I'll let it go.
Yeah, they managed to get a couple of the grubs. That would have been fine.
Yeah, it would have. So take another look. Q play there from Sponge. Can't believe he gets Keen as well. But the damage follow-up isn't really there. If Rich was also dumping a full combo onto Keen or Duro there, maybe they get the kill. But instead they stick around for a little while. And then here, I think it's because of UCal's TP. But they could have definitely left there just through mid with UCal safeguarding them.
Yeah.
And it would have been unfortunate, but fine. But then instead, it ends up being a debacle.
Yeah.
Atlas, that's what that was.
And at the very beginning, Duro just ulted Teddy away. So they just didn't have any damage follow-up as soon as Yukal wasn't in a position to get his Sand Soldiers doing damage.
Chovy, I missed the charm.
Oh,
Unacceptable, really. Worrying signs for GENG.
yeah. Still hasn't died, so continuing that no death streak.
Yeah, he also obviously did a really good job in the rest of the fight. I'm just... It's now a 2K gold lead at 13 minutes, Atlas.
Yep, and I'm going to stop thinking about the outcome of the game. I'm starting to see whether DRX can kill Chovy one time.
Okay,
That's going to be their job. I remember this is actually just going back to Chovy's debut.
2019.
Yeah, where like it took him 4 weeks, I think, to die for the first time, 3 or 4. And then he did, and then he had only died once for a really long time, so had that 120 KDA or something like that, which was absolutely absurd. Maybe that's what we need to focus on for this game, because right now this will be the 6th game in a row. Chovy doesn't die if he stays alive for the rest of
It's
it.
also the 17th.
All right.
For GENG versus DRX.
Canyon moving in, Sponge in position. Canyon dives on top of him. The deadly flourish from max range, and goodbye, Mr. Skarner. This setup from GENG is disgusting.
Ondale looking for a punish, but he don't have the TP. Yukal can't join.
Sidestep, and Canyon is going in, ladies and gentlemen. Solar Flare, and Canyon is out. Once again, that was 3 people. Chovy and Yukal doing battle. Yukal, can you kill him? For the first time in 6 games. Maybe not right now. As Ruler is going to create some curtains.
I love that flash from Yukal. That's great. That's the equivalent of, you know, in a horror movie when it's like, you go, have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Cabin in the Yes.
The opening scene when they go by the bus station, the guy's like, if you go to the cabin, you will die. And then they're like, whatever.
Oh, so in this version of the movie, they just turn around and drive home?
Yeah, Yukal's the guy that's like,
all right, peace.
hell no, I'm not, no part of this. I want out, and just flashes and leaves.
Yeah.
Good for you, Yukal.
Doesn't get as many ratings in the box office or things like that.
Doesn't make for an entertaining movie.
No.
But he's alive.
Yeah, he is. And that's why there's no movies about Yukal in a Cabin in the Woods. Because he just got out of there. Canyon got into the enemy jungle, and he is going to take away a bunch of Sponge's stuff.
I love seeing Canyon on Neferi, because if you really think about it, Neferi is just Graves with extra steps. And I feel like Canyon wants to be Nidalee or Graves every
Oh, God, I've seen this before. As Rich was there, I promise everyone, he was there. He's not anymore.
Man, Duro,
oh,
he's been stepping it up. It's good to see.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
It's also easy to play support when all of your lanes are winning always. It's like it's a chain reaction, right?
Yeah.
This is always such a... It's the same as being Faker's jungler.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like after, like, what, 3 years now, we're finally like, okay, Owner is actually good. We can say it. It's okay. It's fine. But it's kind of the same here, because Duro can legitimately also, being Puppey, just run from lane to lane, where his laners, because they're winning, has pushed in the opposing laner, and then you just slam in the wall and they die. And Canyon's just power farming while all of this is going on. It's not fair.
Well, DRX think that they can go for an objective. That's what they're going to look at right now. But in the meantime, let's have a look at what Duro's getting up to. As, Sponge can't hit the ultimate on an untargetable target.
No. It's okay. We don't need this. Alan's like, I'm here!
I'm helping, friend. As Rich, he's
like,
just having a giggle. He's like,
can't be mad.
I can't really do anything about that. As, oh God, yeah.
Okay, he can do something about this. He's very far up.
He can't, well, not now. Now he can't do anything about it because he's too far up. And so we're going to have to repeat the player cam. It is going to net them a Rift Herald, so that's something. But still, GENG very happy with the game state right now.
Oh, you can't even really engage because Puppey's there. So you need to deal with Status Presence, you need to deal with the ultimate. Ruler can just open up.
Oh, he could almost die as well as he's impaled, and Canyon comes in. Ruler is fine. Never mind. Duro's now coming down. Canyon continuing the fight here as the curtains are being called. Teddy is going to be his target. He decides to put a few bullets into Sponge as well, and Ruler picks it up with the last one. That is indeed curtains for Sponge, and you can't even blame him. This guy, I think that like in individual moments, this Ghana has looked really good. But he's 0-3, and it doesn't matter.
This is truly the final evolution of Ruler, where he's like, why should I have to do all the work?
Yeah.
And he just locks Jin, and he's like, oh, look, no. Oh, no, I'm autoing the ward. No, don't attack me. And then he just flashes out, walks it up. And look at that. He's like, yep, I'm safe. Set up the ultimate. Serve him up, boys. I don't want to do all that kiting. I don't want to do any work.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it like it's like, oh, he's it's not the main character syndrome that he's had his whole career. No, this is just the epitome of main character syndrome.
He's just lounging by the pool.
Yeah, I do not even have to do anything. Please, another Mai Tai, my friend.
Oh, please, serve me another kill. Oh, another.
Yeah.
Oh, inevitably. Please.
As long as they're in multiples of 4 in this particular game.
Yeah, he's off on that. Needs 2 more kills. Oh no, poor Ruler. Will he get Atlas? This game is cooked.
It is looking pretty cooked. Well,
so any shows you've been watching recently?
Yeah, I've been watching Slow Horses. It's
I've heard it's
really good.
Really good. I haven't seen
I'm a big fan of like English espionage
that's
shows.
the one with Gary Oldman, right?
Yeah, and Gary Oldman is the most disgusting human being ever, and I love it.
Sounds great.
And he's one of my favorite actors of all time. I think he probably is my favorite actor. It's hard because I've got so many, but still. Canyon now looking for a bit of an angle.
I'm not gonna lie, memes aside, I actually thought it was you, Jack.
No.
He does musicals.
Yeah.
I love musicals.
Yeah, and I love Hugh Jackman. He's just not my favorite.
Okay, that's fair.
It's all right. Sponge just going to be wandering away. He is still very tanky. As Rich is now going to join, Canyon is not as healthy as he otherwise could be.
He needs more creeps, okay? He's behind.
Yeah.
That's not okay. He has less creeps than his top lane. Come on, Canyon. I know he wanted to go in and go back. Doesn't do it. What a cowardly dog.
But he is an alive dog, so there is that. As Andil, deadly flourish, not really doing too much. As the Rift Herald has now been put down, we got a big old zoom out. I don't necessarily know what this means because there's only 3 members of GENG in this mid lane trying to defend this.
Chovy TP angle?
Yeah, potentially.
He TP's to the wave though, no? Unless he wants to. Oh, yeah, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah.
DRX, you got this. You got this!
Oh, Yukao. I don't know what that was, but it looked kind of funny. That's all right. They have managed to knock away the jungler, but they've killed the Azir. And now this is looking so deadly. Oh my goodness. Rich gonna get taken out there as Canyon makes Teddy just watch while the bleed is set. Oh, one last tick, and that is enough to take him down. Heartbreaking here for the 80 carry of DRX. And GENG, they've got a smorgasbord of things that they can take, and I think the Dragon is going to be on that list.
Oh, Yukal, no. Yukal, no. Ruler doesn't have flash. That play makes sense. You get him.
He was a long way away from getting.
He was really fair. Yeah, no, he was not. It was not that close.
Oh, hang
Rich.
on.
A man with a dream.
Maybe this was all for this moment instead, as Kane is going to be able to... Oh no, oh no, oh no, he's just dead. The Impale is going to get stopwatched as well by Keen. And now Sponge is getting blended. Okay, Yukao goes in. Doesn't have Emperor's Divide because he used it before. And Sponge, no! Oh god, thank goodness Yukao's actually able to grab the kill, but I don't know whether it was worth it. And by I don't know, I mean it was not worth it, ladies and gentlemen. Slammed into the wall and destroyed. The poor pigeon kind of hit by a freight train here. And GENG will now take the Dragon.
If that was a kill on Chovy, I'd call worth. But it wasn't. Chovy's still not dead, by the way. Chovy flashes. Ruler is just out of range.
I was wondering how you were going to say it. And
yeah,
you know what?
Not,
that's the best way to say it.
It was just not. It was not in range. Yukal, I've been, you know, with the bleed as well. The final tick. That's just. It doesn't matter for the game.
No.
And then here, Rich is like, I've seen all these other Jaces be so tanky. Not him. Keen just toasts him in seconds. And then, yeah, Keen's Rumble, I take it back. Okay, it's every bit as scary. I think DRX are making it look scarier as well. They have not heeded the good advice.
No.
And then, yeah, the fact that you got dies here, it doesn't... DRX, they're going for Hail Marys. The Hail Marys aren't working as they shouldn't.
They got keen.
They did get keen.
That's all I got.
Chovy has a 4-stacks Magi.
Canyon is looking to kill Rich again. That equalizer was unnecessary, Keen. We did not need to do that. It's okay. Canyon just going to dash over that one. Find some daggers there as well. Is now just going to avoid the Impale very comfortably. And yeah, DRX cannot catch a break.
I remember seeing a few of the games that Canyon played on the Neferi, and I think it was like the first two didn't look that great.
No. This one looks pretty good.
He looks so... yeah.
He's really, like...
It makes
sense. A lot of play on the edge as well, and I feel like that's the best look for Neferi.
It is, and it's in theory, it is a Canyon champion, right? It's an it's an 80, big 80 threat.
And it's a hands champ as well. Yeah.
It's a hands champ, exactly. So it makes sense that he'd be good at it. I just feel like before we didn't really see that. We're seeing it in this game, although this game is also a bit of a, maybe not the fairest representation, as it's a 10k gold lead now.
24 minutes into the game. I would say that things aren't necessarily going DRX's way, but if the last series taught us anything...
Rich is down 2 levels to the enemy jungler, Atlas.
Oh. Yeah, he's also down in farm to the enemy jungler.
Well, that's normal. It's Canyon. I'm not going to hold that against him.
His jungler, though, is down 3 levels. So...
Yeah.
Speaking of levels, 2-level advantage for Chovy as well.
Can Canyon just solo? I guess he can, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. Food for thought. So, made anything interesting for dinner recently?
Me? No, not really. Not a lot of cooking being done at this point in time.
We're in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
That is when we're all kind of like
And you know, I could like feel lazy for that, but just the food options around my place, because we live in a real old person area, so there's so many really, really good food restaurants.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And often, like, we call it, my wife and I call it the Ajushi test. If you walk up to a place and there's a bunch of old people, old guys in there, and they're like, they're sitting around drinking makgeolli and like, you know, talking about their recent hike that they went on, that's when you know it's the goods, and there's like 11 of them. As we got a bit of a team fight starting off here as Canyon might be engaged on. The Impale did actually work this time, but now he's out of there. And the Leona is just dead. They are all walking on the barbecue, by the way. As there's another explosion. Canyon just goes in, gets back out. Rich is in the bottom lane in the meantime as Teddy's played some DDR, able to actually get out of the way of Chovy as well. Very nicely played. It means about nothing as the Happy Bee is nowhere near the rest of the GENG members, and so he's just having a really good time. A natural habitat here for Rich.
Rich must have known the observers were going to highlight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is, he was giggling as that is one of the funniest things I've seen a player do.
Sorry, boys.
Oh, no.
And then the coaches like try and yell at him afterwards. He's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, at this point in the game, unfortunately, nothing has... Maybe if we throw another ultimate into Kane, he would have died.
Yeah.
Maybe Yuka also should have tried to shuffle him.
This kind of looks like the DRX episode of Will It Blend.
Oh, Will It Blend reference. Banger. Teddy does very well at DDR.
Actually, incredibly.
No, actually, he dodges all the shots and then does have to flash for the charm. Otherwise, he would have still died, despite all his heroics. Yeah, so game 2. It's going to be 17. I don't know about 18, but definitely 17.
We got it wrong. We were off by 1. I think that's fine.
It happens.
You know? And I think that no one beats DRX 18 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Ox can also, he can attest, he can let us know how silly we are, because he's the guy that defined, you know, when things are due. He knew about HLE. We did not. Rich is going to get harpooned and destroyed, and Ruler going to find that 1-2 punch. 4-0-11 now on the Jhin. That's neat. Duro now hunting.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, Keen isn't super healthy, all right, there goes the Skarner. Teddy is equalized, if you could really say that. Doesn't look very equal to me. Emperor's Divide does next to nothing. My God, this Rumble does so much damage.
Just end the game. Genji.
Please,
Genji,
please.
no, Genji, no, okay. Thank you. No pings towards Nash.
No,
Dragon.
they should do Dragon first. Yeah, not Baron. No. That's a little bit too close to trying to win the game. No, never mind. GENG are looking to try and close this one out. Curtain call, just to make sure that Sponge cannot do anything. He already couldn't do anything, by the way, as Rich is going to respawn, but the Nexus is not until game 2. GENG not going to get upset here today, nor is Chovy going to die. So we're going to make that 6 games in a row.
A lot of parts that came together well in that one. As Rich, once he's out of the game, I mean, you can see as well under the DRX stuff, I saw some wry mouth. It's GENG. If this was a
It was a 4-level lead in the jungle.
If this was DNF, I think it would be a very different experience. But realistically, how many teams in the world can beat GENG? I'm saying like maybe 3.
I don't think anyone can in LoL Pub. Outside of Humble Life Esports.
That's valid.
If it's a best of 5.
If it's a best of 5, and only if it goes to game 5.
Yeah. In a best of 5, Humble Life Esports, outside of that, absolutely no one. Not on this stage. The team is just too good. Let's have a look at the damage numbers here as Ruler, like the most casual, most damage in the game I have ever seen.
He was sipping drinks. He was lounging by the pool. Where is my pool party
This was
gym?
the most resort gym performance I have ever seen.
Is there a pool party gym? Is there a resort gym?
There needs to be now.
Yeah, him with like a water gun and he's just chilling, hanging out in the pool.
It has to happen. That has to be made just for Ruler after this performance. That was a quick one. That was decided pretty quickly. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space going to break it down, and then we're going to see whether DRX can lose 18 times in a row.
펴주고 해보자. 해보자. 찍을게. 잘 찍을게. 스카나 풀공 다 있어. 앞을 쓰고 넘어가 그냥. 넘어가. 좋아. 아, 안 맞았네 이게. 예. 스카너.
So DRX still on the blue side, seeing whether they can find themselves a victory. They have lost 17 times in a row against GENG. 18 surely not going to be happening here, as the victor going to be taken away first here by Yukal. An odd one because he's been really good on the champion himself. They don't want to see it.
Yeah, because you have to first pick it, otherwise Chovy plays it, but if you first pick it, Chovy plays a Kali. And you will notice, if you watch enough LCK, that this reasoning, when it comes to Chovy, applies a lot. Where you go in circles, it's like, oh, you can't.
I don't know whether that actually gets them out of the troublesome spot, though.
That's the neat thing. Nothing does, because you're still playing against GENG in the LCK.
Doesn't sound very neat.
No, it doesn't. Really, the only team that can deal with GENG, as we have highlighted, is maybe a Humble Life. A DK will get nauseatingly close and then fail, or KT when no one sees it coming.
Yep. That's going to be next week, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. First half of the week.
It won't be this one. Because now it's too obvious.
Oh, right.
So it'll be when GENG has like a 16-game winning streak and they're like undefeated season.
The thing is, like, if everyone predicts GENG for that series, which
doesn't
it's
matter.
almost guaranteed
No, it doesn't matter
because
because we still kind of think that they might.
Yeah, the feeling. It's crept into the waters. That's a good point. That is a good point. Okay,
Oh,
Nocturne going to be the final ban here.
Nocturne.
An interesting one.
Huh.
Does mean that
Didn't see
Talia
that comment.
that we were talking about is likely to be snapped up first. So the Callista going to be the ban away, and that was a smirk.
I don't think you can blind Talia.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
I just don't think you can do it against Chovy. So the Varus comes through. Varus against maybe Ashe for Ruler. MF. Ruler has been fine on MF. Not aiming level, but he's been acceptable as...
Ooh, Renekton Italy!
My God.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out.
Ready to hear you out.
This is not actually the setup. It's Chovy on Renekton. It's Nidalee top. No,
yeah!
It's not. It's just this. It's just this.
I remember a game where Canyon played Nidalee
with Renekton mid.
With Renekton mid. That went really well.
Until it didn't. As why do we keep playing
Lilia
Rise Lilia? I just don't like it.
It won.
Chovy slammed that Anivia.
Oh,
get out
God.
Get out of here with your...
It's Misfortune.
All right, that's fine. Misfortune makes sense. We're not the biggest
no,
fans.
but now they're going to ban Anivia.
Well, they should. I feel like we haven't really been clued in yet to the fact that that's unplayable for Rise. I feel like you can't blind Rise. It's just a couple of matchups like that where he just doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it shouldn't be allowed.
Chovy might play Sion mid though or something at this point just to set up Canyon. Like, I can feel it. He's going to pick something silly. And then he just picks like Orianna or something. It's just all of us going, ugh.
Yeah, could be the case. I don't know whether, like, I hate everything about Orianna and Italy. That sounds absolutely disgusting.
You know what it might be out of nowhere?
What?
Smolder with the steel chair.
Oh, no.
Grasp Smolder into Rise. Can you imagine how quickly he would get his stackies?
Oh, there's no way that's going to be picked. Okay. All right, one more ban. See whether it's going to be something. It's not going to be a Leona. I was actually thinking about that, but that's not going to happen. Rel will sort of eliminate the highest rung of the engaged supports outside of Rakan, which that Duro will be very happy to pick up. Instead, it will be the Jax taken away from Rich.
Normally you could go back to Gragas, but Gragas,
he's going to play
Rise,
Aatrox.
Lilia. He's going to play Sion.
Sion, you think? I think it's Aatrox.
I think it should be Aatrox. I think it might be Sion. I hope not. As the Rel, unsurprising, gets taken away, so...
Oh, Alistair's still up.
Yeah, you know, Ali or Rakan. Those are your two choices. I kind of was expecting Rakan, because I think it's an Ando comfort pick and Poppy's gone, and they're not picking Talia. Unless the Rise gets flexed, which we don't know yet.
That could theoretically happen.
That is Braum.
Oh, the Yorick! Was nerfed in the jungle again, I'm pretty sure. But not as much towards the top side.
Yeah.
But we saw it didn't really need to be nerfed because it wasn't very good here in the LCK. But the Ghoulie wall, definitely a whole lot of fun. Braum, going to be locked in. Show us your Braum, Ando. He's going to bring that one out. Now the last pick.
I don't love the DRX draft. I'm not really sure what we ended up with here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Chove, pick something boring to really make us all feel bad.
Mid. Oh, Galio is definitely boring.
Well, it's Chovy Galio. I'll take that. Yeah, I think that's he's had one of the...
It sets up for bullet times pretty well.
He's had one of the coolest plays. You know, like a Chovy 4-man flash taunt. That was cool. That happened.
It's really interesting because my brain kind of computes that as Chovy making that play on GENG, but it was when Chovy was playing for DRX against GENG that he made that play into BDD's GENG at the time. Kind of crazy. A lot of our players playing for a lot of different teams, but Chovy is kind of synonymous with GENG these days.
It was 2020.
It was?
2020.
Long time ago.
5 years.
Crazy.
5 years, Atlas.
Starting to feel a bit old. A little bit old. But coaches going to bow to one another. Fist bumps. DRX, can you do it? Oh no, not the brain rot. We did not need more of that. As all right, at least we do get some of the really cool little cards. She hides. No, don't put it away. No, don't take it back out again. Okay. Oh, now we've just got happy GENG players in a bus. Much better, much less brain rot.
Tiger looks a little scary though. That was a mischievous tiger. Atlas.
I mean, tigers are scary.
You know, I saw a picture recently of a tiger that looked just like Ruler.
What?
I know, it's crazy. Actually, had kind of. I'll show you later on. It's wild.
That sounds like in the wild?
No, you think? Yeah, you think I'm joking, but I'm gonna show you later, and you'll be like, wow, that is exactly what it says on the tin.
I mean, I guess I could take your word for it, or I could also just say it's probably going to look like a tiger. As you better bring up that photo right now as we make our way towards Summoner's Rift for Game 2.
오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. GENG back on the red side once again. As DRX, different draft, a little bit more of an opportunity. As that looks like a tiger. I don't know what you're talking. I mean, there is a bit of a
Look at the
ruler
eyes.
vibe. A little bit of
You
a
can
ruler
see
vibe.
it.
Yeah.
As
little
far
bit,
as a
but-
tiger can look like Ruler.
Yeah, I think that's, you need to definitely add that caveat.
But
Yeah, no, there's definitely, there's like a thing going on there.
well, it's
Okay.
still an animal.
Yeah,
Like,
just,
it's not.
just post it on Twitter so that everyone else can have a look. And they can be the judges.
They
for
can
themselves.
judge me.
Yeah, set it as like a poll and say, does this look a bit like Ruler? And then tag Ruler in it. And we'll see whether Ruler thinks it looks like
even-
Ruler.
Okay, I'll give it.
He
a go.
might be on Twitter, I don't know. You could tag Arnold and then Arnold forward it. It's all right, GENG going to be getting a bit of a leash for Canyon here so that he can book it through the jungle as fast as possible. Canyon, the best thing about Canyon when he plays Nidalee is the fact that he actually uses his Nidalee skin. Kind of like everyone else who plays Nidalee, but it is just good to see. There's a few like Zeka also uses his Akali skin, but Beryl will never use his Leona skin ever, and that's super annoying. As, yep, 81.1% win rate on his Nidalee in the LCK of all time, 30-7. One of those 7 losses lost me my hair as well. So the early game definitely put that down as a W. As DRX, speaking of W's, actually winning out in this early game on the bottom side of the map quite nicely.
Well, I did it. I put it out. There's
There
a
we go.
poll. The people can now judge for themselves.
Love that. Absolutely fantastic. Keeping him honest. I do kind of see it, but it's a bit weird.
Atlas, I'm going to be very honest.
Uh-huh.
I feel like you might not want to because you just want to be like, no, Chronicle, you silly. It might be a little bit of that.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of that. But that, look, the people will tell.
We will
As,
find out.
Wait. Kane able to actually slice through the ghoulies, which does make things a little difficult for Rich in the matchup, I
It
guess.
makes him sound like a cereal brand.
Ghoulies?
Yeah, the Ghoulies.
Or
You know,
like-
you wake up and you have your bowl of Ghoulies with milk.
yeah, or it's like a sitcom back in the days. Okay, there's a nice double pole there from Duran. Not too much going to come of it.
What flavor would... Actually, there's no good answer.
No.
Let's drop the bowl of cereal.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. All right, we are Flash Justice punching for a max range taunt. Yukal is dead for first blood. And I personally think he had no right to land any of that. Flash forward Justice punch into max range taunt is not okay setup for a spear.
There's someone on that needs to apologize for saying that Galio was boring, and it's both of us. We are sorry, Chovy. We are very familiar with your game.
Oh, that was so rude.
That was very mean.
All right, well, at least he had to use his flash. I don't know, still so mean.
Still not good. Still not worth.
Wow. All right, yep, well, as it turns out, Galio, phenomenal setup for a Nidalee. That's why they picked it. targeted CC. That's all right. There's another two-man pole. Let's see whether the double up's going to work out. Show him the door. And Duro going to have to run his way out of there. Lilia was in position for a bit of a follow-up as Canyon a little further away. That's all right. Let's have a look at this one more time from Trophy's perspective.
박아볼까 아니면?
Should I just flash E? And as it turns out, yes.
The timing as well, because the minions could have actually messed that up, right? If it just a second later,
I mean,
the minions Konga in front of the, because he didn't have that
Canyon
much.
did actually have to weave the spear as well.
Oh. Yeah.
If I'm Yukal, I'm not too upset about that. That's one of those things where it's like, well, I guess that happened. I had a lot of opportunities to go wrong. As Morning missed for a bit of good old poke damage.
Just change the inflection a little bit. You can do like the classic cringe content. I guess that happened, you know, and then they look into the camera.
I did cringe a little.
Yeah. Well, that's the point.
I understand why it's called that.
Yeah, that's the point of the content. Sponge is on a ward.
He is. He knows he's on a ward as well.
There's a reinforcement.
Spinning around.
Under was there.
All right.
I'm just going to help Yukal shove out this wave so I can go back and not be at risk getting murderized again by Chovy and Canyon.
Oh, Teddy gets a control ward down as Duro did not need to sweep that one because he could see it, but he's going to sweep anyway, just in case.
Oh, that was a fun little mind game.
Yeah, it was a cute one.
Duro did have health. He also went phase rush, by the way. I haven't discussed this yet. Kind of makes sense if you look at how he played out a lot of the early trades. Should have noticed earlier, honestly. Like very go in, proc combo, and run out again.
Yep. Actually gives you an exit strategy.
Good tech.
Canyon has not missed a spear, and there's another flash pulverize here from Duro, much like last week, looking real good on the cow. The Kitty Cat gets yet another kill. There are a lot. It's like a menagerie on the Rift right now as the deer gets taken down by a cat and a cow. All right, that's a lot of people that agree with you. That's 112 so far on the poll. Get on Twitter if you don't believe Ruler looks like a tiger.
92.
But right now, 92%.
I should credit this was not my original. I just saw someone tweet this. I'm like, you are right.
Yeah, we should actually
yeah, I will.
I'm sure you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll do.
All right, Make It Rain is pretty good setup as it turns out. As my God, Teddy taking a lot of damage there as the bullet time through the door is going to be the opportunity here. Is Chovy getting close in? Oh, is this his first death? His first death in 6 games. Never mind. He's just going to ult to the bottom lane. Ghoulie wall. And oh, look at the mechanical maiden. It's kind of cool. Little steampunk maiden over there as Chovy going to have his back interrupted. And is going to go back home.
Do it. Dive.
Oh, the bowling ball. Can it eat through the shield? Oh, it does in time, just barely. Oh man, that was almost Chovy being home before he had to worry about it. You can see not too concerned about too much of anything at all, as Ruler is tidying up this minion wave towards the top lane. We're going to have a look at this fight one more time.
Oh, Sponge. Unfortunately gets tagged by the spear, and then the flash elongation knockout there from Duro, followed immediately by Chovy.
Gorgeously played.
Yeah. That was in a... Normally, if a Galio like ults in, I think you feel less bad about that, but he's just there.
Yeah.
Like he was just...
Because then he ults
right
out
place, right time.
Of the last thing.
Not even close.
Yeah, apparently.
Rich has a lead.
Yeah, there we go, 10. Oh,
well, once he catches his wave, he will have a lead again.
Well, to be honest, everyone has a lead. They just all have a negative gold lead.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
They all have a lead. It's just a negative lead.
That would be called a deficit.
Right, but it could also be called a negative lead.
No, because lead implies you are ahead of something.
No, it's just leading backwards. Okay, Justice Punch here on the Yukal. This time there is no Nidalee in the area.
You can't...
I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, I don't want you to leave it at that, because that's not...
All right, I got another question for you then. How about this? So, do you think the world would be a better place if YouTube monetization was based on what a collective of very smart people think about your content and not about just what people want to see?
There's a lot of layers to that question. We gotta give it a second before we dive into that.
Well, let's have a look
Rich
at this
might be
little 2v1 towards the bottom side as Rich is putting down the ghoulie wall to try and stop Canyon from coming on over here. He is distracted by the Maiden as, my God, if that spear was thrown a little bit more aggressively, it could have been a dead Yorick because he already has a Leandri's Torment complete.
So back to your question.
Yeah, I just saw someone's opinion on the internet, right? Which
Well,
is a dangerous thing to look
I
at.
would, yeah. I
One of the problems of our time is that YouTube monetization is based on what people want to see, not what they should be watching.
I would argue that this is a this is a really big issue nowadays.
Yeah.
Not just related to YouTube, but just in general. I would say it depends on the type of content. I think when it comes to art, when it comes to pure entertainment, I don't think there's merit to that. I think that whatever is popular is fine, is good.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to
Like educational stuff.
when it comes to educational stuff, yeah, I would say so.
And I guess it's interesting because a lot of it, like educational stuff that's on YouTube and things like that, is often recommended by people that are, you know, in that sort of space as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just an interesting
No,
thought. I don't think I
with you.
phrased it all that well because it
No, I
was
think you
just
did
sort
fine.
of like a...
Well, it's you know, you can talk
a
about this for
shower
hours.
thought.
It's better than what we usually talk about, which is what we would do if dinosaurs were real. So, you know, we gotta.
That is
sometimes you
very
just
fun.
gotta elevate it a bit.
True.
Anyway, so dinosaurs are real.
Dinosaurs are real.
They are real, but not currently.
Well, just not all of them. As okay.
Also that.
Does finally go in. The door is now down as there is the heroic entrance, but it only gets a knock up onto the Braum. Yukal's teleported in as well as another taunt. The bullet time layered on top as Teddy nowhere to go. No chance to get out, and a gorgeous headbutt back onto Yukal as well. He's going to get decimated. Another kill goes over to Ruler, and Canyon is flashing forward to try and take down Sponge. The spear is going to land because of course it is. And GENG, this is looking on perfect game pace, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even think they have lost a plate.
Oh, yeah, I was putting my vote. No one will beat DRX 19 times in a row.
Unless they lose again to GENG in round 2.
Yeah, that's...
Which is right now looking relatively probable.
So DRX was aware that it was going to happen, right? Like, they actually knew because they had Yukal to come in. And then they just get caught off guard by the re-engage from Chovy, who completely cooks them. The bouncy house of Alistair and Galio ends up being a big detriment, and then Canyon...
Oh, is this another replay? No, this is just Yukal dying.
Yep. So back to dinosaurs. Atlas, have you
Yes.
seen Land Before Time, the original?
Oh, of course I have. Littlefoot was like my favorite character in anything ever for so long. All right, Keen gonna be flashing away here. Remember, he has to save the perfect game.
He's a dinosaur. He's okay.
They did lose some plates, so we're gonna have that plate argument again.
We will not have the plate argument. Plates don't count.
Yeah, they're not real. Neither are grubs.
Well, I think grubs don't, but fortunately for us, in this game,
They didn't take any.
didn't take any. So, I just, because I saw Littlefoot when I was a kid, right? It was called differently, obviously, in Dutch.
Yep.
He's called Flatfoot
Is he?
in Dutch, yeah.
Huh.
Instead of Littlefoot.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's nice. It's still a cute name, right?
Yeah.
And then I watched it back as an adult, and that movie is so heart-wrenching. It's not even okay.
I've watched it at like a lot of different points in my life.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, cool dinosaurs. And then I was incredibly depressed. As Duro is just moving forward, does manage to interrupt the CC, but does get Chains of Corruption. Andil is likely to be dead, but can they get more is the question here as Chovy moves on to a killing spree.
포탑 방패가
Yeah.
곧 소멸됩니다.
This is reminding me a little bit of that storyline.
As in how like painful it is, or
It is. It just feels like an impossible task, you know? You're trying to work out whether that place is even real. It's interesting because that story has been sort of retold many, many times. I don't even think Land Before Time was sort of the first time
no, of course.
that's happened. It's a metaphor for a lot of different things. It's very, very interesting. It's reused once again in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, actually.
Yeah, it does. Which I love both those things. Maybe that's an ongoing something I should look into.
It's because humans just generally love hope.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also, you know, I feel like with Xenoblade there was more about everything else in that game. That game is
It's just exceptional.
it's like a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Well, we have time.
We do. We got plenty of time. DRX, we got time until DRX go for the comeback.
And then?
Yeah, and then we'll have time after that.
Oh, they go for the comeback and then we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Is
As
it right
Andal
now?
is waiting. Okay.
Engage Braum.
Ghoulie wall, Ghoulie
In
wall, Ghoulie
my
wall,
game?
Ghoulie wall, Ghoulie wall.
He's Renekton though, so.
Okay. Chobi just going to taunt up Yukal here, Winds of War. And he doesn't have any damage items yet. Just got that unending despair, which is just so nice into the Rise matchup. This Ruler just over here taking down an outer turret in the mid lane. It feels like there are twice as many GENG members on the map than there are DRX members, and I think that's because they have twice as much money as them. Or at least that's what it feels like. 2,000 gold lead for a Galio into Rise in the mid lane at 15 minutes. Not something that I've seen all that much of. That's all right. It's a Hextech soul as well.
I did a little checkup. We're at 275 now. 93% of votes say.
Oh, wow. It's gone up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Percentage-wise. I think we have our...
Looks like it's confirmed.
we have our confirmation.
Yep. The eyes definitely are a bit rulery.
Yeah, the rest of the people calling me out for not tagging Ruler, so that's valid.
Thanks, guys. You guys are the best. I knew that they'd be able to get it
We
done.
can trust our audience. They are.
I want
very
Arnold to
kind.
comment saying, "I agree, but you should have tagged Ruler," and then he tags Ruler in it. He would.
He would.
As he's also a busy man, so he may not necessarily be watching our broadcast of his team's game.
I think
As Andal's
generally
gonna
he
face
does. I don't know for this one.
Yeah.
On paper, this wasn't the most exciting matchup. Everyone that's here knows that that's not actually true.
All right, Rift
Pick the
Herald
narrative.
being started up.
No one sees it coming. They're 6K called down.
Oh man, is this how we get to the 6-game day? Oh my god. Well, teleport in from Kane as GENG. I don't know whether DRX really have too much of a right to contest this,
Gotta
but they're
try
going to go for it.
something.
Chovy looks for Yukal on a flank angle, gets his flash out. As now Duro on the flank, but they need to wait for him as GENG somewhat split at this point in time. Ghoulie wall not going to lock down Chovy as Duro. The triple knock up into the bullet time! And there is the heroic entrance as well. They're only just able to take down Andal in the end, but they also get themselves the Rift Herald, and Rich is taking so much damage. In goes Duro once again! And now Canyon is just murdering them in melee range as this kitty cat, the taunt lands on everyone, and GENG mop the floor with DRX. I would say that it was a good effort, but unfortunately they didn't much have an opportunity to even have an effort in that one.
We are actually on track. Like we've.
Yeah, this is a perfect game
We are.
so far, yeah.
We are actually on track for the perfect game.
And Duro, like that flank pulverized angle was just gorgeous.
GENG just plays these team fights so well, and it's a back and forth. I also think that composition at this point in the game is nigh unbeatable, because DRX just don't have the raw stats on Rise yet, or on Lilia. This is a very short fight as well. I think Lilia really prefers it if you have a bit more of a messy back and forth.
릴리아 볼게.
It's like, I'm going for Lilia.
Oh my god, free man gets 2 flashes immediately.
And that's not like a muscle memory headbutt pulve as well. That's a headbutt, put him in position, move, get the perfect pulve. He called everything there, calling out some flashes here, and then just letting everyone know, nice work.
This ebb and flow with the double phase rush is just so beautiful to watch. Again, there's a huge gap between these two teams. We don't really get to talk about anything else, right? Than GENG just being so good.
Yeah.
But they just are.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you say?
Well, sometimes you've just got to watch as GENG obliterate their opposition. And honestly, the fact that the perfect game is still alive makes it very interesting. That's what we need to keep track of and keep up to. There's that. There's also the fact that Chovy hasn't died in 6 games in a row, as that is a lot of Voidlings, Void Mites. As Canyon going to go for another one. The smite comes down to interrupt him, as he's not going to get sleepy, not going to go for a one-man sleep. Is Sponge. Still, Canyon takes half of his health bar, likely to be able to primarily surge himself back up to a decent health rating. Does manage to do that. As Chovy getting towards the top lane, will be able to take down
Very
Wave.
important. Can't let him have a turret.
Exactly. As the mid lane out of turret is extraordinarily healthy, there is a little bit taken of the bottom wave.
They're playing against Yorick and they haven't lost a turret.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't bode well for the Yorick team. There's happy Poro there from Ruler. He would like to go and have dinner, I think.
Was that the JDG? I think it was a JDG logo. I don't know, because I don't know the emotes from the LPL as well as to do the LCK ones. You know, like the...
Yeah, no, I don't know the LPL ones at all, actually.
But I think I saw. That's so cute.
It would make sense that he would have those.
Yeah. Remember that? When they lost one best of 5 in a year?
Yeah, I remember that best of 5. I remember feeling pretty good after that best of 5.
It was a good best of 5.
Yeah.
Pretty memorable.
All right. So, perfect game, still on the cards. Dragon has spawned. Maybe that's where we'll get some sort of fight. As you can see, Chovy backing all the way off here. As they might set up for Ruler. That's what Duro's kind of banking on. You can see they've got so much vision towards the bottom side, towards the top side, everywhere. GENG able to litter the map with wards. As Chovy able to clear them all out as well. Teddy desperately trying to find somewhere to farm. And Ruler just farming with impunity. Just no one able to stop him from doing anything at all.
I'm looking. So we have a sheet here, right? And we need this double check. So I'm gonna do that right now. I think this is the last perfect game, the official one, right? That is on this sheet.
Yep.
This was in 2020 spring.
KT versus Griffin.
That
was UCal versus Chovy. I think so.
That's what I'm... It's definitely
No,
Chovy.
2020. Yeah,
I just don't know about...
I don't know about UCal. Maybe not in 2020.
But it's No, wait. 2020 Griffin. Chovy in 2020 was on DRX.
Wait, yeah. Wait.
Ah, boo.
Yeah, different one. Damn it.
Boo.
I see KT versus Griffin, and all I can think about is Score and UCal and Chovy and Tarzan.
We don't need to verify. How cool would that have been?
That would have been very cool.
It's not, though.
Very, very
not
cool.
Real. Well, maybe UCal was involved.
Yeah. It might have been rather. Yeah.
Who was on Griffin then? In 2020?
It was that guy whose name started with N. I'm pretty sure. But I can't remember his name completely. I remember a lot of them. It was, okay, we've got it here. On Griffin, it was actually UCal.
UCal on Griffin?
Nayan was there as well. Nayan was the name I was trying to remember. But it was Tara and Tarzan as well. As UCal, going to take a lot of damage here from Ruler. And Iroven Woodid was on that team. Oh, man. Sorry, Woodid.
Woodid and Kion.
Wow.
One of our
Griffin
writer slash produced. That's crazy.
Now I feel really bad. I'm not.
Well, it wasn't Chovy.
True. Definitely wasn't.
Who was on KT back then? 2020 KT?
2020 KT sounds like a BDD KT, maybe?
No, BDD was GENG 2022.
Yep. Now we're going to get Yundo on it. He'll let us know it was on KT in 2020 as well.
They can't lose Otacon, by the way.
Well, they are going to.
No, I mean, GENG can't.
Yes, because otherwise they won't get a perfect game. All right, there's some knockups. Zandil able to walk his way out. Oh no! Oh no! Turret! The turret's gonna go down! No, Rich! Don't do it! No! Oh, why? Why?
You had one job!
Perfect game is dead. Rip the perfect game. Oh, you almost got there. One turret.
I love that Jonas Strong also did the zoom because he knew the people would want to see this.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Oh. Okay, well, GENG are going to be able to take down this inner turret. It's moving towards 24 minutes into the game. So we'll have Baron up relatively soon. Chains of Corruption do go down as Canyon will murder Sponge. Just needs another little swipey swipe.
Well,
he's not going to be able to get one.
X broken. It's fine. Just go in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, perfect game is doomed.
You don't have to care anymore.
As long as Chovy doesn't die, you'll be fine, GENG. All right. Canyon will take a bit of damage here from the Ghoulies, but otherwise not too much to worry about. And DRX still able to keep their base alive for the moment.
So I've abandoned the Ghoulies as a serial. If the Ghoulies were a band, what kind of music would they make?
Grunge, 100%.
Grunge?
Oh, yeah.
No, I feel like it'd be like something jazzy.
Nah, grunge.
That would be, you're thinking of the Ghouls. The Ghouls would be grunge. The Ghoulies?
Ghoulies, oh, so you're thinking like it's more like surfy pop type style?
Yeah, the Ghoulies.
I mean, I could hear that, but I still think
they're like
grunge.
in a beach. They're like in a beach. No, that's.
It's like they've got an ironically cutesy sounding name. But
Oh,
actually,
and then
they
it's
just play filthy music.
Ah, I can see that.
You know, like filthy but artistically.
No, I get what you
know?
mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. That's all right. There's a help up pole. It's going to connect onto the Braum, who does have the door, but the door isn't exactly mitigating as much as we'd want it to, as there's the bullet time. He waits for the Unbreakable to wear off, as now the heroic entrance comes down. Canyon kept alive, as Teddy does his very best, but it's just not quite enough.
I do want to give Rich credit. This is his job. That he's doing great.
Yes, be inside lane.
That's his one job.
Very
if you
true.
somehow win this game, it's got to be Rich just doing this. Nothing. This is it. That's all you need to do. Just keep going. Keep on trucking.
Yeah, you got another guy in chat, by the way, saying like surf rock as the Ghoulies.
Yeah.
So I can hear that as well. Another turret, but I guess the perfect game's already dead.
Doesn't matter.
Who really cares?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's totally okay. As we've got some pings on the Baron.
Rich has a pretty substantial gold lead. Yeah, it is 1v1 is working.
Okay, not bad.
It's not bad.
As long as you don't look at any of the other gold leads.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. Absolutely shouldn't. He's also got a hull breaker, so he definitely wins 1v1s in side lanes. As Keen not going to interrupt his back. And to be honest, if I was Keen, I wouldn't have done so either. As Ruler will be able to grab his teammates a red buff. Chovy going to get out of there. I'm seeing there's some life left in DRX here. I'm getting some
You're seeing the lines?
They've stepped out of their base.
You seeing the lines?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing something. I don't know what it is. Happy B from Rich again. That's got to be a good sign. As, oh no, the Maiden. The Maiden! Ruler wants that money. He wants that money so bad as, yeah, sad B. Obviously 50 gold over to Ruler. Yeah, very sad B. Understandable. He's maidenless once again.
That man is an entertainer.
Oh my god. 50% of his health bar with a double up. That doesn't feel great. Well, we're flashing for a Justice Punch as Ando going to be the sacrificial Braum once again. Yukal threw some spells into Chovy and didn't manage to break his magic shield. As down goes Ando yet again. Another bullet time is beautifully positioned as Yukal does get into his Realm Warp to get himself out. The Hextech Soul is up and available here for GENG, but I think they might want to get the buff from the Nexus as well.
What buff?
I think it's called Win.
What does it do?
It makes you win.
And
then one of your teammates gets voted for POM, and you get to do an interview. It's pretty cool, actually.
Okay.
Oh, Rich going for the steal.
Wow, let him have it.
Wow, Rich didn't have smite. That's
boo,
so weird.
Canyon, boo. Give him something. So, who's your POM vote?
My POM vote? Canyon. 1000%. Or Duro. After like this and all the other things. Chovy's also played well. Maybe we just give it to GENG. Why don't you write down GENG for POM?
I mean, I don't think they'll let me do that. I don't think that I'll be. I'm eligible to do so, unfortunately.
That does make a little bit of sense. Duro's had a phenomenal game too.
Yeah. So if it was POM or POG, game one would be Chovy.
Yeah.
POG for this game would be Duro.
Yeah.
As a whole, I'm
probably
Chovy.
Really? Huh.
Well, his game. Remember his Ari?
Yeah. And actually, his Galio's been phenomenal as well.
But
I just feel like
at any
Canyon's Neferi was also so good in game one.
Yeah. Yeah, if Canyon gets
Yukal's dead.
That's fine.
Chovy is going pretty quick.
You know, I think I'm just biased because Chovy playing Galio again,
Yeah.
it just brings back good memories.
Does. As bullet time flies in. Oh, the unbreakable from Andal is kind of decent here as Sponge trying to get a flank angle off. Ruler is relatively low as the Maiden going aggressive, but not quite aggressive enough here. As look at these health bars.
The damage!
Just melting.
The Dominus!
Yeah, that was... We are getting some information about this buff of the Dominus above level 16. Looking great as now GENG just trying to add insult to injury, but they will take down the Nexus. That was an absolute shellacking. Utter domination from start to finish. 2 turrets away from a perfect game. I think no one dying on the side of GENG in game number 2. Decimation here on Summoner's Rift.
Still contemplating my POM. It's hard when a team wins this hard.
Yeah, it's like Duro, Chovy, or Canyon, and like
Duro, Chovy, Canyon.
flip a 3-sided coin.
Is there really a bad... Actually, you know what? There isn't a bad choice. I'm going to stick with what my gut feeling was. I think it's fine.
I think it's okay.
If any of them get it.
Well, when it comes to like GENG just winning, you just win in doubt Chovy. Because then he'll get up to 600 points, which is a lot of POM points.
That'll be fun.
But I think today was a good Canyon day. I think today was another good Duro day, and I think people like voting for Duro as well, just because he's the youngest player on the team. He sort of stepped into a squad with 1 billion veterans and has just been really good.
Extremely high expectations, right?
Yep.
Ton of pressure on him. Following up after Delight and Lahens, which is obviously insanely
Yep. 2 of the greatest
hard.
supports we've had, yep.
And then he still has such great vibes. It's just, it's lovely. It's great to see. For DRX, the reason why we talk about GENG, obviously they won very convincingly. So for DRX, if you asked these players beforehand, did they think this was going to happen? Probably yes. Unfortunately, I think the gap is just too big. Yeah. And it makes me excited to see what can happen in the Legend and Rise group. I really do think, how much do you learn as DRX from a game like this? Because realistically, GENG is just on another level. And looking at these plays kind of confirms it. Like, it's the cohesion, it's the coordination, it's the confidence, it's the execution. And I want to remind everyone again that I think there are very few teams in the world that can match GENG right now.
Yep. I also think that, you know, once you start losing this badly, things get worse and worse and worse, right? As Canyon here lands a very nice spear to finish that one off. He honestly ran the early game pretty effectively, but it was these wombo combos. It was the fact that Duro gets himself into perfect positions almost every single skirmish. There was just no opportunity. Again, like Duro just having like mad movie plays about 4 times in this game alone.
Chovy's still not dying.
Yeah, still hasn't died. 7 games in a row now without a death.
He was playing Galio.
Yeah, I feel like part of your job is to die.
Yeah.
But in fact, no one died in this game. So I guess that does make some sense. Yep, Duro just delivered a gargoyle to Yukal.
I now have some pictures of Ruler the Tiger with the glasses.
Oh, that's gonna...
my god!
Okay, 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 never mind. Never mind, it's perfect.
It's...
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Shout out to you,
amazing.
Lena, on Twitter. Literally him is exactly that. So that's what, like, he should never have left GENG. He is the epitome of this team's player. As DRX are going to be left on their fountain, and GENG will just allow the minions to take down the Nexus at the end there. Having a look, this is a pretty sad little graph.
Except for Rich.
Except for Rich,
That's my boy.
Yeah, he did some side lane yorking. But having a look at the amount of dashes on the left-hand side of the screen and then the amount of stuff on the right-hand side of the screen gives you a bit of an idea as to just how far ahead GENG were. As now it's time for the POM. Chovy gonna get it again? Let's have a look, see who it's going to be.
Chovy, Canyon, yeah.
6085011, adding a whole bunch of stuff to an undefinable KDA.
Yeah, there are I truly don't think that today you can have a bad vote. Like even Ruler, I think Ruler and Keen were.
I think Rule.
But even
I love Ruler's like resort lifestyle that he was living throughout both of the games.
the narrative
chilling.
vote for Ruler, especially with the whole
Now that he's a Tiger.
Tiger conversation.
Absolutely. I hope they ask Chovy about that. I think that's the really important thing that we need to learn about. Maybe the Space can do an interview with someone to figure something out there.
Make it happen.
We need to interview the Tiger as well. We need to go and find this Tiger so that it can go and live with GENG.
Do they know?
Yeah. Has the Tiger been domesticated? Do we need to go and help crowdfund that as well? So that we can make sure that this Tiger is safe to live around, because I think it's very important that they live with their mascot as well. Oh man, there are so many questions that we need answering, and I think it's just about time to throw it on over to G-Sun, who has the translation. Apologies to Deer for assuming that it was going to be you. It's in fact G-Sun this time around. Thank you so much, G-Sun, for translating here today. Sometimes it's hard to catch up, you know, but we are waiting just a few moments. before
It's
Chovy
Atlas. You'll always be forgiven. I think you can get away with anything as long as you.
Ooh, not sure about anything.
As long as you,
I haven't gone for anything.
within reason. I think you're good. You know, you're such a you're a sweet guy. It's fine.
Maybe guessing the wrong translator is something I can get away with.
Well, G-Sun is your boss, so I actually think you're in.
Okay, so it's now time to throw it over to G-Sun for the interview translation, and it's going to be amazing.
승리 축하드립니다.
Thank you very much, Max, for the proper intro this time around. We are here joined by Chovy on the side of GENG after their phenomenal performance and a 2-0 victory. I feel like I see you all the time, Chovy. GENG on a huge win streak, and you are also on a POM streak. 6 POMs already. How do you feel? I was not expecting it, but still very glad that I managed to win another POM today. Then who do you think will win the POM? I mean, everyone else also played really good, so I didn't really expect myself to, you know, stand out and win the POM, you know. Everyone deserved the POM, honestly. Indeed, all 5 players on the side of GENG had a great performance today. Well, looking at the champions we had in game number 1, Jace, Skarner, Azir. Was that something you guys were expecting to see in the match today? We kind of did, you know. I mean, those are the meta picks right now, but I was just focused on the mid lane matchup and the laning phase. So I thought we were having a decent comp on our side as well. And then in game 2, during the laning phase, you are able to find a very interesting angle to get a kill onto the Rise. How did you see this opening? So Nidalee had some time to spend the mid lane, so I was looking for a flash trade actually in order to add more pressure in the laning phase. And then I was able to actually get a taunt on the very last range, so it was really lucky for me to land that, but because of the chain CCs and the combo, we were able to even lock in the kill. And in game 2, it was 19-0 when it comes to the kill score. Is there anything you guys have to go through in terms of the feedback, or was it just a perfect game? Not much. I think we had a really good performance because we knew how to play out the macro, how to deal with the opponent's game plan as well, so I'm pretty happy and content. What about your own performance? Of course, I am very happy with my performance as well. Chovy, you are immortal. Like, let's take a look at the undeath streaks in the past 7 games. So we already mentioned this in the points of the match earlier today, but after the match today, now you are on a 7-game winning streak of undying. How is it even possible? I mean, there were some time when I didn't die at all in the past days, so it's not a big surprise to me, but I will make sure to keep up the good work. But still, you go for some aggressive and proactive plays and still remain deathless. How do you make it happen? I think recently we, as a team, were able to set up for fights where we were able to kind of out-trade the opponent. You know, we were able to get more kills, and then based on that, we were able to get more items, and that's how we kind of snowball off of the skirmishes. Now you have one match to go in the first round robin, and KT Roaster is your opponent. How are we gonna keep your undefeated streak? I have some memories of us actually losing to KT when we were on a very good winning streak, so we will make sure to stay alert to continue the record. And back to the space. Thank you.